quite a lot on this programme before about charity events and, things that people do for charity and the lengths that people will go, run the Coventry Half Marathon, walks, bike rides and the like. Imagine, though, right, if you will, you're stood in the middle of Coventry City Centre, right? You're in the middle of Broadgate, you're underneath the Godiva statue. By the way, the clock's still not working, 7 months on. I just wanted to point that out, OK? And imagine starting to run, OK? And keep going. And keep going, and keep running, all the way to Wembley Stadium. It's a distance of 104 miles. That's what our next guest is going to be doing over the next 4 days. Malcolm Boyd is from Wellspun, just outside Stratford-upon-Avon, and a year on after losing his dad, he's running to raise money for more research into brain tumours. Malcolm is with us this morning. Hello, Malcolm, how are you?
Good morning, Phil. I'm good, thank you very much. How are you?
Are you psyched? Are you ready for this?
Psyched, yeah. Well, nervous. It's kind of a mixture of nerves and emotion, and ready to go. Yeah.
104 miles.
Yes.
I mean, what? You couldn't just do a half marathon or a marathon and do it that way?
Well, no. I thought to myself, and I shared it with my dad. I thought I'll do something big at once, and so we found the Cotswold Way Challenge.
And that's what this is, isn't it? It's the Cotswold Way Challenge. Just describe for us what it is you're going to be doing.
Yeah, so it's 104 miles, as you say, from Chipping Campden down to finishing outside Bath Abbey. The weekend is a year after my dad died from a brain tumour. And it's a staged event over the sort of 3.5 days, and it's like 14,500 foot of ascent along the way. So there's quite a few hills.
Because the nature of the Cotswolds is it's up and down, it's very lumpy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've ridden my bike there, and I know riding my bike was quite enough. I wouldn't want to run a step of it, Malcolm. Got a friend of mine who says, I'd rather cycle 100 miles than run one. Well, you're running 100 miles.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be a relatively slow run, but yeah.
How do you prepare for something like that, physically and mentally?
Well, I guess physically, it all started last year. I mean, I used to just do sprinting, and long distance running was anything longer than sort of 800 metres. So last June, just before my dad passed away, I started training with a coach and just gradually building up distance, gradually building up sort of back-to-back training, doing gym sessions on strength, and trained about 6 days a week for the last year, and did my first half marathon in March, and then did the Brighton Marathon and Milton Keynes Marathon in end of April and May. So
you've been clearly building up to this, and this is obviously a huge moment for you, and I understand why you're doing this because of your dad having had a brain tumour. Just tell us a little bit about your dad, because I'm sure you're going to be thinking of him quite a lot while you're doing this over the next few days.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, Dad was, as many fathers are, he's a rock to our family, and we had many great times, a great friend, passionate rugby player and supporter, so we spent many times watching rugby, especially the Rugby World Cup was sort of our last interaction before he was diagnosed in Christmas 2015 with a brain tumour and given months to live. At the time, it was pretty shocking just how little could be done. We were just battling to find what could help him. But we chatted through the few months, and he said, don't do anything silly, son, with his words. But he said, if you want to do it, go for it. And he'd hoped to be there with me, but that's not to be.
Wow. I'm obviously sorry for your loss, Malcolm, but you're doing something really positive about that now by doing this run, and obviously hopefully raising money and awareness into brain tumour research. Hugh Adams is from the charity Brain Tumour Research. Listen to all of that. Hugh, he's doing something rather remarkable here, isn't he, Malcolm?
He is. Good morning, Phil. Good morning, Malcolm. It is an extraordinary endeavour that Malcolm's undertaking, and I think that what came through there was the passion he had for running, the passion that also he has now for the need to invest more into brain tumour research because of the speed with which he lost his dad. The journey from diagnosis to the sad passing was so quick and so shocking, and that's obviously what's motivated Malcolm and motivates so many of our supporters.
And when it comes to brain tumour research and funding for you, give us some idea of where brain tumour research ranks when it comes to cancer funding, because we talk about, cancer charities and cancer funding all the time, cancer research, breast cancer, children's cancer, but brain tumour research, I'm going to guess, isn't that high on the agenda, is it? And that's something that hopefully you're trying to sort of raise awareness of.
Well, exactly the case. You know, what historically has been the situation is just 1% of the national cancer research spend has been allocated to brain tumour research. That's just 1% to the cancer, the biggest cancer killer of our children and the under 40s. And to be absolutely clear about this, Phil, what we're looking for is some sort of parity. If we look at what we've achieved with breast cancer and leukemia, we applaud what's gone on there. We just want some sort of parity of funding. So most of our campaigning is driven towards getting an overall investment of £30 to £35 million, and that's shared between government, larger cancer charities and site-specific charities like us.
And regardless of who gets elected tomorrow, Hugh, whichever colour of government gets in, you're obviously calling on the new government to invest more, I'm guessing.
Well, indeed. I mean, what we want is a climate where research can flourish, and research is international now. It's not people being sort of working in glorious isolation. It's about teams of dedicated, sustainable researchers being undertaken in this country and in other countries, and also people being able to travel between borders to work together. And I think that we want to see a climate where that continues.
Well, I'm sure you'll be wishing Malcolm well. Malcolm, what time do you set off tomorrow?
Set off midday on Friday.
Okay.
On 100 miles for Dad. And if anyone wants to read more on the story, there's a website which is 100milesfordad.com.
100milesfordad.com. I'm assuming people can donate there as well, can they?
Yes, they go through that, or on justgiving.com, 100 miles for Dad, the number 100 miles for Dad.
Most people sort of think long distance as a marathon. People call this, what you're doing, as ultra marathon running. I'll be very interested to talk to you, Malcolm, when you finish. To see whether you're going to do it again, or whether you're going to have like a Steve Redgrave moment and go, if anybody sees me near a pair of running trainers again, shoot me or something.
Yeah, probably won't be running for a couple of days after. Maybe struggle to walk, but happy to share how it went, definitely. Malcolm,
very, very best of luck. Really appreciate your time this morning. Indeed. Malcolm Boyd is from Wells Bunny's ultra marathon running this weekend in memory of his father who passed away with a brain tumour. Hugh Adams from the Brain Tumour Research Charity with us as well this morning on BBC Coventry in Warwickshire.